Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this is the part 1 newsletter all about the full moon of January the 17th, 2022. There is a very stressed January 2022 full moon, actually with the most important energy for our life path. So this full moon is on January the 17th, at 23:48 hours here in Ireland. And the moon is at 3 Vedic Cancer and the sun is at 3 Vedic Capricorn. So that's moon at 27 Western Cancer and sun at 27 Western Capricorn. It is very much a full moon of hypertense energies, where our needed Uranus revolution calls out for us each to identify our right path forward. And Saturn's blocks and structures, on the other hand, fight that, making us fearful, but with the optimum call to create proper structures and strategies for our needed revolution now. But there's more than that. Pluto, our Pluto shadow and our Pluto buried power demand obeisance and expression now. And there's more than that. Mercury retrograde is square Uranus, and this could quite likely put our minds and communications in a mess, but also with potentials to find openings and inspirations and breakthroughs. So I'm now going to go into the detail, but I want to say at this point that you can see all the charts for the January 2022 full moon on our Star Wheel Astrology January 2022 website page. And you can go to our Star Wheel Astrology buy page to get a reading from me all about how to work with the full moon and what's going on for you in terms of both your natal astrology unfoldment and your predictive year ahead. So to look a bit more into the detail, it's a case of needed revolution fights your blocks. The moon is in Pushyami Nakshatra. The nakshatras are the wonderful 27 sign lunar zodiac of Vedic astrology. And Pushyami is ruled by Saturn. Sun is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So a very strong Saturn energy pervades this full moon, and this can even manifest as depression and blocks, as well as the creation of proper and needed structures and disciplines. But something quite different is also going on. Uranus in the heavens is transiting square to Saturn at this time. Uranus breakthrough joins with Saturn structure. How can you successfully combine the two now? Probably we will all experience fraught tension between Uranus and Saturn to force us to bring in and ground and strategize our needed revolution now, where we could all try to cling to our negative Saturn blocks and structures, though we will be forced and drawn to realize that some of those have to go, need to be smashed. This is so that you can crawl out of your hiding place, or even better than that, so that you can walk triumphant and brave out of your hiding place now. But we will find that the force of revolution actually runs far deeper even than this, This is because the sun of this full moon is actually conjunct Pluto, Lord of Hades. This means that our shadow arises rebellious against the limiting blocks and structures and scripts that we have imposed on ourselves and our definition of ourselves. We will be compelled now to check out that our strategies forward actually align with our inner true power. We will each have to stand before Pluto at this time. And this is also the myth of Ishtar or Inanna and Ishtar's descent into the underworld. And we will have to stand before Pluto or Ishtar to justify now how we are embodying and using our true inner power. We may need at this time to bring shadow material to the light. We humans are so much governed in our definition of ourselves, what we can and cannot do, what we actually do and don't do, by our shadow, stuff that is pushed into the shadow that we pretend we're not aware of, that can actually run our life. And so we may need to learn at the time of this full moon how to stand more in our rightful power. But it is a complicated full moon, and the other current that we will be plugged into is retrograde Mercury square Uranus at the time of this full moon. With retrograde Mercury square Uranus, our minds and communications may even be a mess. We could be all over the place. Mercury is caught in the cosmic tug of war between Uranus and Saturn. So out of the Uranus retrograde problems and difficulties that I know are already arising, plan your route forward correctly, and also look out for inspirations manifesting at this time. Needed inspirations, needed insights, needed guidances. And remember all the while that Mercury square Uranus is unpredictable, distracted, stressed and anxious. Our minds and communications might feel like they're in a real mess, may feel like that already. The time of filming, mine do. But note also at this time, there's another twist to Mercury. Mercury is actually conjunct Saturn on the 14th of January, the day he turns retrograde. And note that Mercury will be conjunct Saturn again, and that's after he ceases his retrograde motion and goes forward to conjunct with Saturn again at 24 Capricorn. Depressing and negative, yes, but with a Uranus influence mind applied to it, this can actually lead to long-term, successful, structured patterns, structures and route ways ahead in your life. And then there's a different energy again, part of this full moon, namely that Mars is square Neptune. And I absolutely say that positive use of this energy is vision work, and I make a suggestion for useful vision work at the time of this full moon of January 2022 in my part 2 video. Indeed, at this time, bear in mind, we're actually moving to a much more visionary time, when wonderfully both Neptune and Jupiter enter Vedic Pisces in April, not far away. But there is sincerely another important energy to note, and that is that we are in Kalasapa Yoga, all the planets to one side of the nodal axis, and that's from the 5th of December 2021 to the 25th of February 2022. Now, Kalasapa Yoga where all the planets are one side of the nodal axis, creates a preposterous and divisive energy. It's the energy of the ranter, the sensationalist journalist, or, whatever area of work the person is, blurting out their sensations endlessly. But during the Kalasapa Yoga period, the preposterous and divisive energy is actually made worse for half of each month. And that's when the moon leaves the other planets and transits to the empty side of the nodal axis. But that is a moon that is alone, a moon that is unsupported. The phenomena known in the wonders of Vedic astrology as a Kimadruma moon. And indeed, mention of the nodes of the moon just now must remind us that the nodes of the moon actually change sign this April. Ketu, the south node, moves into Vedic Libra. Rahu, the north node, moves into Vedic Aries. Now, when the nodes of the moon change sign, fated things can happen, and there is a whole new revolution energy for people with ascendant moon or sun, or their natal nodes of the moon, in Vedic Aries or Vedic Libra. And while I'm talking about Vedic Librans, please be aware that both Saturn and Jupiter are actually casting, each of them, an aspect into Libra, as well as Ketu, the south node, entering Libra. So this will be an expansionary and practical success time for those with major planets in Vedic Libra. And I think the other key sign I would pick out at this time is and this time of full moon in Vedic Cancer is people who have ascendant or moon in their natal chart in Vedic Cancer. This is such an important time for you. First of all, note that Saturn is transiting opposite your ascendant or your moon, which can be a pervasive, depressing, defeated feeling. But realize that this energy has a great potential for you now for bringing out healing and successful focus on your relationship and love issues. Because, of course, Saturn's in your 7th house. But there's more. You will actually have success now too. This is because Cancer, ascendants or moons, are actually in Adi Yoga, where planets transit the 6th, 7th and 8th houses from Cancer. On this occasion, it's Venus in Sagittarius 6th house, Sun Mercury in Capricorn 7th house, and Jupiter in Aquarius 8th house. And the success you will have in this very special time, if you're a Cancer moon or ascendant, can be in the life areas of love and religion, relationship, also inheritance and shared finances, and occult realizations. So just to conclude, it's really important to hear the analysis of a very powerful and fraught full moon such as January 2022, with all its magnificent positive potential if you can manage it. But I would say it's also a very good idea to do a piece of vision work at the time of new moons and full moons. So watch my part 2 video where I outline a possible piece of vision work, but also a follow-up piece of embodying what that vision work can give you. So get in touch with me for a reading at my Star Wheel Astrology buy page, natal or predictive or both. And my wife, Maggie Pashley, offers a huge range of healing modalities on why. Find out more at her website, www.maggiepashley.com. See all the wonderful parts of our January 2022 Astrology and Healing newsletter. So, all success to each of us in riding the fraught, complicated and also depressing energies of this full moon and bringing out of it vision, revolutionary direction that is right for us, and embodiment of our full potential. Thank you.